you'll get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral, like a crazy cat, all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today.
All right, all right. Good morning and welcome back to the Voice Lab podcast. And it looks like Mona here is in the chat and she says 30 seconds in and it's all about me. I don't think it's all about Mona. I'm assuming Mona, hello, is talking about us. It is about our business. That's what our podcast is for. And I believe you should shamelessly plug yourself and talk about your business, because if you don't, you're the best kept secret. But hello and welcome back. And glad you're here with me, Colleen. Hello, hello. And we've got some
Hello.
great
I want to
topics.
say something to Mona.
Go ahead.
I'm wondering if Mona knows that we create commercials and that that's a great advertisement for us. And so a commercial just like that, Mona, could be about you and your business that's playing here to our audience. So don't forget that part. If you're interested in that, make sure that you connect with Nicole and I, because we absolutely can create that for you and get that playing even on our podcast.
Absolutely. And thanks for putting that out there. And that's it. Thank you for plugging us. Thank you for going out there. And I should probably turn this down, pulling my screens up. But wait, welcome back to the Voice Lab, because we got some topics we're going to talk about. We're going to keep on talking about why that link lead magnet is not pulling its own weight, and bring some information. You know what? When you're over delivering and you're converting, that's what we want, right? That's where we want to get. We want you to over deliver, give lots of values, but we want you to convert. Don't give the farm away for free, but there's a way to over deliver it, and there's a customer service key behind that fact. And that, that's what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. And I'm going to put some information in the chat. And I want to thank you for being here on the Voice Lab. You can get in the Voice Lab group and talk to us. You can talk to all the other, we have what, 135 members now in there?
I think so. I think so.
How exciting is that? It's a great group. It's a safe place if you want it to be. It's an place to expose yourself and your business, talk to like-minded individuals. That's what it's all about. It's all about your voice, your worth. And if you don't talk about your business, people don't know about you, but that's what we're here. We don't only want you to turn on the camera, talk into the mic and say hello to everybody, but we also want you to be able to follow up. And that's what the lead magnet is all about. And I know you've got great information about the lead magnet, because You are, that is your zone of genius on there, Colleen. I'll let you go ahead.
I do love that. And so, as we know, when we are providing solutions, which our business or our product does, when we're providing solutions for people, there are three key questions: how, when, and why, right? And so, your lead magnet needs to be the why, and it needs to say, these are the things that you need to do because your people are looking for this. Why are we providing this? So, reach out to them and just really let them know the why, right? And then the thing that you're keeping, the converting key, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later on, is the how. How exactly? That's your conversion key. That's what you're going to teach them once they're converted, right? But what so many times you get these leads. How are you gathering your leads? Let's say that you have a lead capture form on your landing page or your email, or it could even be on your website, right? And so people fill out this form and they get in there. What then? Are they just sitting there? Are they waiting for you to reach out and say hi? Or are they waiting for whatever product or service you were advertising where they came in? And so my guess is that's what they're looking for. And so when they do that, they need to automatically go into a workflow. And what's the workflow? The workflow is where they get the product, right? They either get immediate access to it or it gets emailed to them. Now, in my instance, I do both. So once you fill out my lead form on the thank you page, which is the very next step when you push submit, it says, hey, be sure to watch your inbox. I'm going to email these over to you. But if you can't wait that long, here it is right here. And they can click a link right there and grab it. What that does is it makes it so it's always in their inbox, always available that way. But they also get immediate gratification, which so many people are looking for right now. Now, once you send that, what's the thing? Whatever that is, if it's a book a call with me, if it's a checklist, if it's a booklet, whatever your lead magnet is, once you send that, where do we go from there? Is that it? Because I feel like for a lot of people, that's it. I actually did a study collecting lead
Yep.
magnets,
Yep.
and people do not get back with you. 9 out of 10 times they don't get back with you. And yet they are working their tail feathers off, right? Like I'm producing all these lead magnets, and nothing. They got nothing. Why is that? Because they're not following through. And so there's a simple way to do that, and it's called a workflow that continually reaches out. And there are many different kinds of workflows. Nicole, what's your experience been with the lead magnets? Are you getting hit back?
I do it. It's various places. But before I address that, Miss Mona, again, thank you, Mona, for being here. We want to say, because I'm only looking at YouTube right now and put some information in the chat. But as I do it, she's in here and says, hey, you know what? Um, Lead magnets, I have a learning gap somewhere between creating one and getting it out there to a landing page or an email campaign. And that's exactly what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
do. I've had several people that have gotten lead magnets. You know what I love to do is because I'm on there's a specific platform, and I'm trying to put the information for our summit in here and talk, but I'll stop that for a second and go on. But here's what's great is I did put the school lab information in there. Mona, we'd love to have you there because the Learning Lab and the Voice Lab podcast go hand in hand. And we do have a solutions lab where we work out problems. It's kind of like an open office hours. But the Learning Lab is each week it's about the same subject that we talk about on the Voice Lab. We want to reach out to as many people as possible to share and to mastermind and to get in there and to find out where can we fix this, or maybe there's a gap somewhere. But giveaways, I love giveaways. I do that on a platform. I do it with summit hosts that I work with, and I do it, help other people do it. But I love it because you can list your giveaway for free, and here's where you give the free stuff, folks. This is a writer downer. This is where you give the free stuff away and offer massive, massive value. You run a gift giveaway, you get out there, you connect with these people, as many people on your list. I let them know in an email. I let people know on certain websites, and I put it out there. You get a few good people. People want to collect leads, and the people that are subscribing to this and picking it up want to get on your email because I want to hear about you. That's one. But two, you get to target them back. Hey, I get a lead magnet that I put out there, and I have one that's called Virtual Summit Mastery. Just a very simple topic, just a very simple, it's not really catchy. It's just simple. I want people to know that there's a mastery, there's simple stuff, and I connect with them after. They do hear from me in a workflow. Getting ready to set up another workflow right now because I've got a lot of stages coming up, but I do hear from them. And sometimes they lurk a little bit. It's like, going into Walmart, buying a pack of gum because you don't want to pay $3 to $10, whatever the ATM fee is. You get what is it, like a $5 pack of gum in return. So you get something out of what you're paying for. You get your $20, you go to Walmart a couple times. And then all of a sudden after that, you realize they got shirts in there, they got shampoo you might need, so you're buying. So people kind of lurk and they watch, and maybe they'll get a thing or two. But after a period of time, they get to know you. You know what? They might not buy, but they're in your group. They show up to your podcast. They show up to your events. So it's support. Maybe they're not ready to buy, maybe they'll never buy, but it is a support. So you see that there's an energetic exchange. The other thing is they know you. And when you turn on that camera and you do a workshop, they show up and they go, "Hey," and you get to talk to them. "Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you, Al, in a minute or two. How's it going?" So they're there. They're your biggest fans, right? Now you got your Elvis fan club, and they support you. They love your information. But the other thing is they talk to other people and that shares. So it's great advertising. It's great community building. Maybe they won't buy for a few years or two, but I'm in for the long haul. So people do get them. People do
No,
get value out of them.
I want to speak directly to Mona because I feel like maybe we jumped over this, and this is a great opportunity to provide a solution. So, Mona, I hope you're still listening. Um, Here's what I would advise you. You need to have a lead magnet that really speaks to people and really delivers value. And so, to find out, to put your lead magnet through that test, I would pick people that you are friends with, that you associate with, however that works, that you see that have that problem that you're solving. And I would give them the lead magnet. I would say, "I have this product I have created. I would like for you to go through it, read it. If it's checklist, I don't know what your lead magnet is. So experience my lead magnet. And I would like a short 2 or 3 sentence testimonial from you, honest testimonial on your thoughts on it. I'm just building this out and I really just need some feedback on it." And I would,
Mona's listening. Mona's
good,
just said
good.
she's
And I
listening.
would do that. And I would get 2 or 3 of those testimonials that are good. Now, if you get 5 testimonials and 2 are bad, I would take that information and make adjustments as necessary. This is a testing process, right? Make those necessary changes. And then go to your landing page or form, wherever you're giving these out, even on your form. And if you don't know how to do this, Mona, then jump in the Solutions Lab. I'm happy to jump on and show you how to add your testimonials to your form. But I would add those testimonials in there on your form so people can read them and realize the value and the urgency and the importance and the solution that your lead magnet is providing. So they realize that as soon as they get to that form, so they're more apt to grab it. And then, Mona, I'm just going to tell it like it is. You sprinkle that shit like glitter everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere. You know your little intro you post every time you go to networking, it says, "Hi, I'm Colleen, founder of Simplified CEO Systems. Grab my lead magnet. Let's connect." Put it in there. Put it there. Put it in all your bios. Put it in everything you do. Just sprinkle it like glitter everywhere because you have to keep doing that every time you go in a meeting, everywhere you go. So people are getting that and getting it. And if you want the quick way, if you're like, "Daggum, that sounds like a lot of work," I get that too. And so the biggest hit I ever had on my lead magnet was doing a summit with Nicole. And I'm not going to just be like Nicole, but this is the truth. This is why I got to a point in my business where I wanted to work and collaborate with Nicole, is because I finally found a summit host that did a good job. And getting 130 or 150, 180 leads in directly at once is huge. And so that's the difference. You don't have to necessarily be a speaker. You could just be a sponsor to get your thing out there too. So there are multiple ways to do that. But I hope that that gives you a little bit of food for thought. A couple things that maybe you hadn't thought about doing that you could do. But I am going to say to you, you started this conversation by we're shamelessly plugging ourselves. Well, we are. And here's why.
You got to do it. Who
And
else
you
is going
need
to?
to do it. And
Do
it's
it.
uncomfortable. I get that. Probably more uncomfortable for other people. I was telling Nicole earlier, I was born talking. So it is like I am the chatty person. It doesn't bother me to say, hey, this is who I am and what I do. But I understand some people are uncomfortable with that. But put that out there, sprinkle it like glitter everywhere, throw it like confetti in the air and let it hit.
It's
Because
free
some people are
marketing.
going to go, huh, that's a purple confetti. I love that one.
You know
And
what?
that's what you
You know
need.
what? You're right. You're so right because I do watch podcasts and I watch these podcasts that support themselves. I watch them. They support themselves. Alex Hormozy talks about himself all the time. That's a millionaire how many times over? His wife does too. They talk about you've got to talk about your business. You've got to share your business. Nobody is going to love and be as passionate about your business as you are. Same thing with our nonprofit, Confronting Domestic Violence. We've got to say it. I'm a chairwoman. I've got to talk about it. The events that I listed in there, Devastated to a Divine Alignment, get a free ticket if you're out there and anybody else watching this on a replay. Go there. Find out how this works. If you go there, we can share with you how the evolution works and how simple it can be. I'm a very keep it simple, stupid, but I hear it all the time from people. You've got to sponsor yourself. You've got to bring what you have because, you're paying for this. It's a free podcast. I'm not charging you to watch. Colleen's not charging you to watch. If we do groups, summits, come in, watch the speakers. Not only are you watching them, it's free to you, but you're supporting them. And any time that you show up, you get some questions answered. But you've got to sponsor your own business. People go, well, hey, you know what? Why? Because I truly, truly believe that this way nobody else gets to tell me what to say or do or how to do it.
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
it, on an energetic level, on a soulful level, I have confidence and I love myself. And I know Colleen has confidence and she loves herself and she loves other people. But you have to start somewhere. And that's what people see. And in order to hear about it, it's totally immersive marketing. You're losing out if you're not advertising for yourself because A, you're not making the money. People don't think that you're confident if you don't talk about your products. And B, they don't know what you sell. Then how
Well, and
can
the
they
thing is
support you business
people,
wise?
they're focused on themselves. They're focused on their problem. When you go out, I'm just going to use a family member for an example. I have a family member that has extreme acne. Every time she goes out, she's thinking about her acne. She's not thinking about the fact that there's a really great acne cream sitting on my bathroom counter when she goes in there. She's just thinking about her acne. And so, one of the tools that I use is I take her aside quietly and I say, hey, I have this solution I found if you want to try it. Um, but how that works into my business, you're probably going, what does this have to do with business? Let me tell you how that works in my business. I went to an event recently, and the email that I received to attend the event was very poorly written. It was very hard to find the links. It was open this to open this to open this to get to a link to join the event. And so I made a little short video and said, hey girl, I love what you're doing. I really support what you're doing, but there's a better way to do your email, inviting people in. And I really want you to succeed. And I think you're going to get a lot greater um, attendance if it's an easier process. Here's how I do that. And I show her real quick in that little 3-minute loom how to do that. And then I send it over to her. Whether she implements it or not, that's on her. But it's shown her a value in my business, a value in my service. And I always say at the end, by the way, this is something I provide for all of my clients. I don't want to bother you. And if you don't find this helpful, please just let me know. Okay. And I do that all the time. If I get an email or an invite or I go to a website and something's not working right, or I was at another one last night that I had to try 5 times to get in. And so I just created a short video saying, hey, here's where I see the problem. And this is the solution as your friend and as your workmate, I want you to know this because I really want you to succeed. You've got a great product. I love it and I love to be here to support you. Here's some changes you can make to really tweak it and level up your game. And then send that. But it's building trust. It's bringing value and people love that. And so you have to take whatever you do, Mona. I don't know what you do, but you need to find a way to do that, to deliver your value repeatedly, whatever kind of lead magnet that is, right?
100%. And uh, so there's 101 things I want to say. Mona says she does love doing summits. And this is why we go live because we'd never we'd never have had this conversation with you. We're having a conversation with you through a chat. We'd love to sit live with you and in one of our events, come in. Let's talk. That's what you do. That's what drives a connection. As a person who has gone out there and hired ridiculous coaches that have said or worked with some of them, and all I wanted to know was, how does that happen? How do I do it? I get very logical in moments, but what with what Colleen has made that video, how many of us go, well, if somebody just would tell me, nobody ever told me, we're telling you. And that's
Absolutely.
how I look at it. It's just that simple to say, oh, and it's critical thinking. You're sparking those brain cells, those motors. You're oiling those motors and getting those cobwebs out. And I know for me, that's how I look at it for myself. Like, gosh, I wish somebody would have said, hey, hello, McFly. Note to self here, wake up, right? So it's time to wake up and experience it. And if you kind of detach and look at it and go, oh, wow, cool. Hey, you talking to me? I can do this. I can use it. And I love little tidbits to go, wow, how does it affect us in real life? And that's the importance of giving away a lead magnet and something of value. You could do a one pager. You can make it pretty on Canva. You could do a one pager, three main tips, but give people takeaways. And that's the spark of that, because your lead magnet in honor events, and I do want to say this, yesterday we had a wonderful event,
Yeah, we did.
speaker panel. Last night we had wonderful people like Terry was on there, Janet was on there, Rainey was on there, Colleen was on there, Lois were on there. Those are speakers at from Devastated to Divine Alignment, and it is something that has come out of a heart. And my co-host on there is Miss Garcia from Confronting Domestic Violence. She's the executive director, and I love this being. And I met her. We've worked together for years, and my ride or die there. And we get to talk about confronting domestic violence, but we want to work through that with post-traumatic growth and bring in some emotional intelligence. And all we're asking for the speakers to do, not only come on stage and tell a great story with a wonderful message, but give at least three takeaways, one to three takeaways that the audience can do right there and experience with them and go, oh, maybe it's a breath, and go, we're all pausing together. We're all changing the energy together. Maybe it's, something like, hey, write this down. How do you feel after you wrote it down and got it out? Or maybe, meet with people.
Yeah.
It's all about connection, and it's an experience. And this is what you're doing, is you're connecting with people. You get a chance to be part of the speaker panel. And you know what is so great about this? And it worked like magic the last summit. I am just, over the moon with this, and like, there's certain things I get excited about, but and it's just because not only I have wonderful speakers that are just true leaders on a soul-led level with their business and what they're giving to the community and the support they give on a business level, on a human level, on a connection level, but each one of those speakers connected with an audience member. The speakers are connecting together. The speakers are partnering up. The audience members are talking. A long conversation with several of the audience members who are going to be Janet and Angelina. They were at the last summit. Now they're going to be speakers here. What a magical connection, a place. And part of that was the engagement. Part of that was a speaker panel. You got to ask questions. We had people that had to be off camera for a moment, but as soon as we're like, hey, turn on your camera, not just that old Nan, turn on your camera, but it was, hey, go ahead and pop your camera on and come on the mic and ask a question. What do you want to know about your business? What do you want to know that's going to kick it up a knot? What do you want to know that's going to go from invisible to influential? And you're going to stay invisible. You're going to stay the best kept secret if you don't get out there. If you don't share and you don't have a follow up, there's fortune in a follow up. There's a way to do it without being a used car salesman, right? It's I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself here, but Robin Williams, he was a used car salesman, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but he was just always down in the dumps, and that was my dad. So I don't want to be the used car salesman, but when he was doing good, There's some other issues with that too, but when he was doing well, he's an Italian guy, great hair, these handmade, hand done suits, Italian, handmade leather, Italian shoes, selling Ferraris, and he was doing really well. And that's the success that I want to look at. He would walk into a store, I kid you not, in his probably in his 50s at the time, still had his full head of hair, but he would walk into a store and there was these young girls. He would walk out with four girls on his arm, just chalking it up, just having a good time. And what I say about that is when you're on, you're on. So I look at it for me like, hey, do I want to be that used car salesman in the lot and just, I'm not selling a good product. I'm lying to my customers just to get the car off the lot about how good the car is or who the owner was? Or do I want to be that successful person and really share a dynamic moment? Because how good did everybody feel? Everybody at that moment, he was selling himself at all times. So when the magic is there, it's there. And we've all had those moments, right? We've all had that bipolar moment where we may be feeling down at the dumps. But how about the success? And that's what we want to offer. And that's what you do with a stage. And yes, how does this all go back to the lead magnet? Because you're bringing that success to people. The other thing is people may not say it or they may not always think it, but subconsciously they know how professional you are because you're set up. And that's what you do, Colleen, so well, is you set up everything up on such a high professional level where you want everybody to succeed.
Well, and I think, Nicole, this is, you and I, when we started this collaboration, it's a no BS game. We're not gatekeeping. And so, Mona, I would say too that maybe what you want is more eyes on your lead magnet. Maybe you want someone to look at it and go over it with you and maybe kind of figure out where the drop is with it, right? And so that's also why we provide the Solution Lab. Now, Nicole's holding Solution Lab today at 5 Central Standard Time, right? That's 6 Eastern, Nicole, is that correct?
That
Um,
is correct. Solutions Lab, where you can come in like a Monday morning coffee. Oh, let me get back in here. I hope you guys can't hear that lawnmower.
okay.
But you can't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is what Mona does. So, she's a trauma and addiction counselor and creativity coach. She does want to talk. So, Mona, please, if you're available at 6, hop in, go to join that link to Voice Lab, and you pop in for free. It's on the calendar. Or, you know what? I'll send the exact Zoom link too. She says, Colleen, I love that you're solutions focused and have the heart of a teacher. She surely does, and trust. She has a trust for a heartfelt sister like yourself. And she uses expressive art to help survivors put their feelings and thoughts
Ooh,
into nonverbal expressions when verbalizing is difficult. I love this. This is
I love
amazing.
everything about that. I
Yeah.
just do. I remember years ago, that makes me think about, I remember years ago that my cousin went into music therapy. And at the time, I mean, I was like, well, that's really weird. And then I had years later had a son who was born with fourth nerve palsy in both of his eyes. And the greatest therapy that worked the best for him, and this is kind of along the same lines with the arts there, is they did a thing where they connected him to a machine and played different music, notes and instruments, and saw which muscles and nerves reacted to which sound. And then they created something that he listened to on repeat 2 hours a day to strengthen the nerves and muscles in his eyes. And that kept him out of surgery for years, where he would have had to have surgery every 6 months because it's a
Wow.
degenerative nerve and muscle disease. And so it's just huge. And I see the power of that. I know this isn't the same as what you do, Mona, but I do see the value in that because one point I didn't see the value in it, and then suddenly I do. But absolutely jump in. The thing is that you want to get seen and heard in 2026. This is the year. You either stand on what you're doing, you believe in it, you spread it around, you learn to spread it around the best way. It's trial and error. Even in this, Nicole and I are doing trial and error, figure it out, iron things out, and everybody around you is doing that. And that should help you feel okay with doing it. Because no matter where you are in your business, and I've owned businesses for years and years and years, this is my ninth business. And so it's always trial and error. It's always seeing what's hot, what's going to sell, what's needed, what's the solution, and providing that, and really being confident, learning to be confident in what you're doing, And part of that also is knowing that your systems are running smooth. So that's what I do on the back end is I create the landing pages. I create the workflow, the email sequence that goes out. I connect the calendar links to it, connect your socials to it, all of that. And what that does is give you the opportunity to not only get on the soapbox, but get up there and poof, throw the confetti, right? And be like, here I am, and this is what I do. And let people know. Just really get it out there.
I love that you do that, Mona, and I'm so jazzed about meeting you and working with you. When we held, I will tell you a little story about confronting domestic violence. This is where I started in my summits and why the stage and your voice is so important. One of the very first summits that I put together and that I co-hosted with the executive director with Miss Garcia was for confronting domestic violence, and we did it in virtual reality. The reason we did that was so that they can stay anonymous if they needed to. They could stay anonymous if they felt a little stage fright. They could be in a safe space. So we validated everybody and met with everybody before they came into the summit. So we knew that it was going to stay a safe space. But they could come in like a panda bear, a giraffe, a girl could come in as a boy could come in as a girl, you could come in as a kitty cat, you could come in as somebody else. And the reason for that is you can come in as you are. Even we had little, you could put a little bubble over your head and you can actually see your human form or create an avatar that looked more like you. Whatever, wherever they were comfortable speaking, however they were comfortable speaking. Some did pre-recorded messages because they were still in an emotional state when they shared their story, still in a trauma. And we wanted to help them get past that, a little post-traumatic growth, to bring that in, to bring them on the stage, to give them a place where they could tell a story. Elizabeth Vargas from uh, um, I was gonna say, she's from a reality, oh, Real Housewives
Yeah,
reality
housewives.
show. Yeah, I talked about that last night. The reason to say this is Miss Garcia has this way to share with people, get them to share their stories in a comfortable, safe space. She did it on the 5 o'clock news. She did it at our gala. What an amazing space to have this tribe where you can come in with like-minded individuals and people can come on the stage. And that's why it's so important. And I love what you do, a way to express your feelings, your emotions, and share that. So have a workshop, share a summit. And this is what gets brought to the stage. And when you have a lead magnet, can even be a video. Maybe you're sending somebody a downloadable from a Canva and you make a coloring book for them. One page. It could be one page. Hey, here's an image you can color. Maybe it's an image of a butterfly or a female, and a female's doing that so she can doll her up a little bit, accessorize her a little bit, make herself feel better. However you do that, and you can have a little video. It could be a 1 to 2 minute video of, hey, here's what I do. Here's what I created for you. Have it, have fun. And then you connect with them and you say, hey, if you connect with me and stay on this email list, I'll give you another page each week. I'll give you another little another little video each week, a chapter of a book that you're creating each time. And that's the magic of what we have with technology. We have our own courses. You don't have to pay all this money to go to these course platforms for all this silly stuff. You could do it for low cost on YouTube
Or we
and
can,
just
yeah.
release it.
Well, you know what, Nicole, my little business brain is just going a million miles a minute, because I love business. And so I'm thinking that if remaining anonymous is hugely important, Mona, then maybe what you should do is sit down with Nicole and talk about how to hold a webinar where everybody can be anonymous, a virtual webinar, right? Where, what did you call it, Nicole? Where everybody's
A
like you
workshop,
did,
a mastermind.
no, like you did your summit with A. Garcia.
Oh, the virtual reality.
Yeah, do a virtual reality webinar. Do that so people can come in, and once they've been in, then they'll be safe. They'll understand that they're safe in being anonymous. And I think
Yeah.
that you could really just that I think that could totally be just capitalized on, right? Like just provide some webinars like that where people can come in. And even if it's a weekly one or bi-weekly to start, use the coloring pages as Nicole's saying to draw them in. They like it, they communicate with you, they're getting comfortable there, let them know, hey, this is the next step. I've got this webinar you can come in and do it just totally anonymous, because I think that sometimes people just want that anonymity, right?
Some people want the privacy, and because we're so on camera all the time, sometimes you need to take a break. And you don't have to be anonymous. It's not a requirement. When you go into, there are different virtual platforms, and some of them you have to have an avatar, so you're creating a kind of character of yourself. However, there are some magical platforms that allow you to come in not only as the avatar, but with your human face. So there's ways to be public. There's ways to live stream in and out of virtual reality. And it's just another nugget. So, I mean, hey, here's a sprinkle, guys. Here's a thought. You want to add a little something to your summit, add a speaker panel, add a fireside chat, add, add a virtual reality portion of where you're networking. And those are things that I'm looking to bring into 2026. So, spoiler alert, I'm just going to share that because this way I'll commit to it if I say it publicly. But you know, adding something like that, it's very easy. It takes 5 minutes. It's just as easy and it's just as simple as opening up a Zoom and learning how to mute and unmute and where your camera is and all that silly fun stuff. And it's okay. And you know, it's you can have business meetings in there. You can have meetings in there, but it's just a little safe space for people to come in. And Mona does say she has a coloring book. Of course you do, because you're magic.
And you know what, too? You can always say whatever their pain point is, like their biggest, what's the biggest thing that's keeping them from reaching out to you? Is it on your end? Then let's iron it out, right? Is it because your links aren't working or because you're not getting the reach or something? Then let's work that out. But if it's because they're ashamed, if it's because they're afraid of being seen, if it's one of those things, then you need to be highlighting that in your glitter that you're throwing. Like, you do not need to be afraid of this because I'm absolutely a safe place. Even going so far as I would take the HIPAA laws and dissect them and adjust them to fit your situation and be like, this is what you can expect when working with me. And then you stand on that like it's your last leg. You stand on it like that's what you got. And then always protect that and be fiercely protective of that and their privacy if that's the issue. Whatever that pain point is, you need to just really help them with that on their end. And you know, I think too that even just having lunchtime discussions, you know, where women can, entrepreneurs can get together and have lunch and discuss things. You know, I love just talking all things business. I love when people like Mona come on and say, well, this, that, or the other, or this is where my problem is. I love just saying, let's dive into it. That's my happy place.
Well, you know, exactly. And here's what I've learned by running summits. And I do something called for a cause marketing. And that's exactly what we're doing at this next summit on the 22nd, 12 o'clock, speakers panel, Devastated to Divine Alignment. You can come in for free, join us, or you can upgrade to the VIP. It's $44, of course, a little angel number there, but you get the replay, you get all the lead magnets, you get all the great VIP gifts, you get the recordings, but you support confronting domestic violence. And so being a person that has to do what I practice what I preach, and that's how I share and educate people is by doing. So you visually, you kind of see how it works. It makes a little more sense sometimes with a person like me. But with that being said, you know, it supporting that and events that you have can support a cause and can add some money. If you say, hey, Mona, you're running your event or your webinar, hey, portions of the proceeds goes to give kids in the neighborhood another coloring book, something a little bit different, or maybe school lunches, or you're raising funds for that. And you're shamelessly plugging your nonprofit or for-profit event. And that's something to remember. That's why the shameless plug works so well, because you've got to talk about the system. You've got to talk about what you're supporting. You got to talk about the thing you're doing. And sometimes it's hard for people. They don't want to tell people what they're supporting or how much money they gave. You don't have to talk about that. You could just say, hey, I'm supporting this cause. And people go, what's that? And that's great. You know, Subaru sells a lot of cars. They support the trees. Great. I'm a tree hugger. I love the trees. I want to listen to them. I want to smell the dew in the morning while you're hiking on a trail or go by the lake and just, you know, watch the crocodiles, you know, just kind of float by. But the great thing is what are you supporting? What are you talking about? What do you love? And people get to put purpose with passion. You make some profit, you support the event. And it's an all encompassing thing because we don't always know who's doing it. I mean, if you looked like cautiously, like United Way years ago, a lot of the proceeds went to people and lined their pockets that didn't need to go to. Whether it's for profit or nonprofit, I truly believe that your staff should get paid, and this is the way you can do it. We do have a nonprofit that was already conceived, and they got the licensing and the certification for it. But you could do it without having to jump through all the hoops. There's a way to do it and put the financials together. It's a business. And if you run it like a business, and that's what we learned a lot with a nonprofit, if you start to run it like a business, then, it's a healthier system. And people love that, because it's actually ethically, morally run and we support people, but we have these volunteers. So that's a great thing in there that I just want to say that this is what you can do by having a business. This is what you could do with a money exchange. And this is what you could do when you add value like a lead magnet. And we're coming to the end. So I'll let you, because I know you've got so much stuff. I could see that they're firing a synopsis in the brain cells up there.
Well, I think that the important thing is to get seen and heard. And so, however you have to do that, and more importantly, however we can help you do that, that's what we're here for. That's why we have the Voice Lab school group. That's why we have the Solutions Lab inside of there. That's why we have the Learning Lab inside of there. And that's also why we do Voice Lab podcast, is to really just make those connections and help people get seen and heard in 2026. So be sure that you join us on those. And then, of course, we will be back on Tuesday of next week at 9 a.m. Central with Voice Lab podcast.
Yes, and before we go, I want to thank you guys so much. But before we go, I'm going to drop some links in here to
Absolutely.
not only the summit, but also the Confronting Domestic Violence website in and of itself. You can go find about a little bit more about who's on here, who's been in the chat, who's working on that. There we go,
Well,
confrontingdomesticviolence.org.
and we have other ways too, Nicole. What we didn't mention is Monday Morning Business Foreplay, and that is my podcast I hold every Monday morning. And we do have guest speakers on that, as well as Nicole's Pain Point podcast, which is on Wednesdays. And that is another way to really get out there, get seen, and get heard. And so consider those. And those can be found at, Nicole, you can drop that link too,
I am.
BruinsDoMediaSpotlight.com. And if you're not quite ready to stand up and talk, which you did say, Mona, that you like summits, you also could run a commercial. No, Nicole creates great commercials. You could run a commercial on there. You could also just do a sponsorship where you have a logo and a QR code like Nicole does on her background. And that can be played during our podcast. And we play them on all 4 podcasts. So they would go on all Monday Morning Business Foreplay, Pain Point podcast on Wednesday, and then Voice Lab on Tuesday and Thursday as well. So something to think about, but really look forward to connecting with you, Mona, inside the school group. It is Voice Lab, and we try to do lots of things and bring lots of value there. So come join us in there.
We do. We're going to go out with a bang. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Look forward to seeing you tonight. All the information's in the chat. And we're going to go out with the commercial from Confronting Domestic Violence. And this is how we shamelessly plug ourselves and every wonderful thing we do. Did I share the sound this time? Because Zoom has changed how they do it. Okay, they did not take it off this time. Here we go, friends. Here we go. If it'll play. There we go.
Our mission at Confronting Domestic Violence, CDV, is to provide real-time resources to victims and offer relocation services when parents have a safe place to go and not the means to get there. Every day, countless families wake up in fear, navigating a battleground in their own home, trapped in a cycle of violence. It is in fact the most dangerous time for a victim is when the abuser knows they're leaving right up to the point of leaving. One of the biggest challenges a parent faces is fear and finances. We aim to help numerous families each month by fostering multi-agency collaborations. We're asking you for your support too. Every little bit helps to make our mission a reality for families ready to leave their toxic, abusive environment. No parent should have to leave everything behind or resort to homelessness when leaving for safety. Your contribution can make a world of difference, offering a family to feel safe at home once again.